Star musical, Oh, What a Feeling. Now, currently on Channel 4, Crossroads meets Yes Minister in the political soap opera Annie's Bar. But just how realistic is it? In a moment, I'll be getting an opinion from the opposition benches. But first, here's a preview of Thursday's show.
Resign?
You have to threaten that. Otherwise, in the end, whatever you say is just words. Resignation's a concrete threat. And with the current government majority, they'll do anything to stop you. You don't have to mean it. Just say it.
Do you really think I should, then?
You going to stick to your principles? Or is it all hot air, David?
Of course I will.
Then I don't think you have any choice.
Oh, is that prescient or what? Please welcome Tony Banks, MP. I don't mean prescient from your point of view, Tony. I just meant talk of resignations now, the morning after the night before.
Well, I'm pretty unrealistic stuff, actually, because, quite honestly, these days, if you found a minister, you know, with a smoking gun in his hand and a dead body at his feet, he'd still swear it was someone else's fault and he didn't mean to do it. I mean,
and he'd get off, wouldn't he?
Yeah, he would, actually, because they'd probably win by one vote, you know. But the thing is that, I mean, people don't resign. Their ministers don't resign anymore. It's a strange old world, as the lady once said. They just don't resign. And in a way, of course, I think it's just lowering the standard of politics even more. And it's a shame because people regard politics as a place where, you know, a lot of talk is about honour. You know, they say, you know, my honour. Remember the old saying about the more he talked of his honour, the faster we counted our spoons. There isn't very much honour in politics these days, you know.
It's layers within layers. I mean, could you have foreseen what happened last night?
Well, no, because it was too close to call. I mean, you can't see that you're going to lose or win a vote by one. I mean, at one point, we thought we were going to win by, that is, the opposition, was going to win by maybe two. But, of course, Rupert Allison then, you know, comes into play, because he's a guy who stood up and made this big speech about saying that there was a stitch-up and innocent men were going to be sent to jail, there was a conspiracy, he couldn't possibly support the government, and then he did. So, I mean, you know, what can you do? I mean, the guy's one minute he's damning the government, and the next minute he's voting with them.
So, what time did you get to bed last night, then?
That's a very personal question.
I can answer that. Yes, but I couldn't possibly comment.
About 12:30, quarter to one, something like that. But I got home and had to do a bit of work, you see, as well. Yes. I had a few things to do this morning. You
see, this is the thing, isn't it? It's the impression we get from watching programmes like Annie's Bar, Alan Bastard, the Francis Urquhart trilogy. You know, which one is the most true to life in the Commons?
To be perfectly honest, none of them. I mean, the thing that's probably truest about the House of Commons is the test card on television. I mean, it's, you know, in fact, you wouldn't sit there watching the test card all day, would you? I mean, because, see, the stuff that you see on television, or that we see on television, Prime Minister's Question Time, you know...
Now you're talking real Parliament, not the television dramatisation.
So, well, what I'm saying is the dramatisation of it, really, none of it's true. I mean, the Annie's Bar stuff that you're seeing at the moment, did you notice that the most wooden performances that have been produced so far about MPs were the real MPs? You know, I mean, you know, Edwina Currie came on there, and Edwina Currie just simply was not convincing, even as Edwina Currie, you know?
Would you take a role in it, Tony?
Well, they've asked me, as a matter of fact.
Have they? I thought they might have done.
No, they did, because I wrote this little thing saying, you know, because I do know the place, and trying to say, well, Annie's Bar isn't a place where people go to drink anyway. I mean, this is for a few sad journalists and, you know, equally sad members of Parliament. I mean, you go into somewhere like the Strangers Bar, because we're not allowed to call visitors anything other than strangers, just so you know that you're not really welcome there. Even though, seriously, even though it's your place, you're not welcome there. You're called strangers. And no one goes in Annie's Bar. But I wrote this little thing about, you know, the various places where you could go, and then said, well, I'll be watching it very critically. Anyway, they wrote me and said, look, would you like to come on? They, apparently, they do the recording here in an ex-lunatic asylum just outside of Reading.
No, you made that up.
No, I mean, no, seriously, you can believe me, I'm an MP. I mean,
yeah, that's right.
It's true. It's true. I swear it's absolutely true.
You have a reputation of a bit of a maverick on your side of the House, and you don't necessarily toe the line. We wouldn't exactly call you the Rupert Allison of the Labour Party.
Thank you.
But how far would you go to support a cause? What lengths would you go to if it meant imprisonment?
All the way. Yeah, everything. I mean, I've been arrested, I think 3 times now. I mean, the last time I was arrested was outside the Norwegian embassy. I'd been chained to the embassy gates in protest against the Norwegians killing whales, and I was quite happy to, you know, I mean, I was arrested, I was carted off for put in a police cell. The policeman was very, very polite because he actually said, I support what you're doing, but we've still got to nick you.
And how popular are those kind of actions with the leaders of your party?
Well, maybe not very popular in that sense. I think people, you know, people tend to say, well, it's a good cause, but, you know, members of Parliament, most members of Parliament are conservative with a small c. Because it's a natural instinctive thing to do, because, you know, they're worried about people's reaction. They're worried about losing votes. Now, all right, so I mean, why aren't I? Well, I am. I don't particularly want to sort of get thrown out of Parliament or anything like that. But, you know, I just feel if you're honest to what you believe in, you go the whole way on what you believe in, you get the respect of individuals. And if they don't respect you, well, you know, well, tough. You just do it. You just do it. But then equally, I'm not going to end up as leader of the Labour Party or even as a minister, probably, because
but would you want to?
Oh yes.
Oh, you would?
Oh yes. If Mr. Blair's watching, Where's the camera? No, Tony, if you're watching this, I mean, I'm in it for a job, kid. You know. Anyway, so that's no, seriously, I am, because I want to. Because I want to do something.
Yes.
I actually want to do something. But the fact is that the price that you have to pay at times, you know, kissing all those bottoms and, you know, going around doing what you're told, you know, not rocking the boat, is rather tricky if you feel strongly about a particular issue.
An issue you might feel strongly about, or you may not feel strongly about, is rock and roll. I think we've got a bit of a treat for you, so I'd like you to stay with us for the moment, Tony. OK, just move to the other end of the sofa while we welcome our next guest. But for the moment, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much, Tony Banks. My next guest recently teamed up with the Beach Boys to release Fun, Fun, Fun. And if you combined all their ages, you'd get a more than respectable snooker score for an entire tournament. Watch this space.